I'm Paul Miles, and I'm at TU-Automotive Detroit 2016. And today I'm joined by Stacy Janes. He's Security Team Manager with irDeto. Hi, Stacy. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Cybersecurity. Now, where's this going in the near future? We know there are threats in the future, beyond the near future, but in the near future, how are we going to get this higher up the agenda?
What I think we've been seeing from the researchers, I mean, we saw what happened with Jeep. We've seen some other automotive mobile app related targets. I think right now the research community is keeping it in the press and is keeping people's eyes on the ball. And as painful as that is for some of the companies involved, I think overall for the industry, it's actually very positive. And the reason I say that is in the industry that I am in, the attackers there are financially motivated criminals. So right now the researchers, the good thing about it is that they tell you what they found and they tell you how they did it and they even give you advice on how to fix it. The criminal element doesn't do that. So if you get hacked by someone with a financial motivation, not only do you experience the pain, but you have no idea what happened. And if they can come back and do it again next week. So I think right now with the research community, keeping it in the news, keeping people's eyes on the ball, we're seeing a lot of change this year with the OEMs and the tiers. A lot of people are interested in security. A lot of people are really starting to understand it. It's a complex field. And especially in an environment like this, there's a lot of things going on inside of a car, especially when you connect a car to other cars and other infrastructure and trust models and stuff like that. We're seeing a lot of really positive views on people trying to learn, bringing in professionals. So in the short term, I think it's going to be a big learning curve. They need to figure out what works for them. Not all solutions cover all problems. It's a very vast market. And I think going forward after that, you will see, once there's a solid understanding, you'll probably see a lot of partnering, multiple security vendors getting together to create broad solutions and standardization to fix certain parts or at least mitigate the most of the pain in certain parts of the market.
Sure, but obviously with the advent of autonomous vehicles, security is going to be even more important. The possible disaster scenarios
Yes.
are even bigger. Is this something that governments should be mandating for, or can this be left in the commercial scene?
Although no one likes to be regulated, I think because there's a safety issue, that the governments will have to have some kind of involvement. They shouldn't get involved to the point where their regulation causes more harm than good.
Yeah.
Right? If they say you should do it and you should do it this way, then that may start causing issues because then you're leaving it up then to be the designer.
Sure, yeah.
But the government, I think, is going to want to get involved, kind of like crash standards.
Yes, yeah.
Right? This vehicle has a certain cyber standard. It's going to be harder to do than a crash test. You can't hack a thing into a wall, but I think from that point of view, government involvement will be good, just to keep people focused and to help bring groups together. There's a lot of companies involved and there's a lot of smart people involved, and I think that from an actual implementation point of view, the innovation should be left to the actual industry to figure out the best way, who to bring in, how to do it, because those innovative minds will come up with the best and most secure solution. Because in the end, all the companies involved are going to be motivated to fix the problem.
And well, the customers will demand it one day. They want something that is safe and that can't be hacked. So will you see that as the main driver for
customers are going to, right now they're just starting to hear news about things happening. And because nothing has happened to somebody that it wasn't pre-planned, like people are hacking their own cars, when something finally happens to an unsuspecting vehicle owner, that's when things are going to start to get a little bit scary for people. And really, the industry wants to get ahead of that so that that doesn't start happening. if you have, I mean, the disaster scenario is obviously someone crashes because of a malicious third party. But even before that, if you have ransomware in mobile and in personal computers, was a $10 to $20 million a year business. Now we're seeing ransomware move into things like hospitals and infrastructure, and it's becoming a $100 million a year business. We don't want ransomware to ever get into automotive. We don't want 1,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 cars to not start or be stranded somewhere, because that is another safety issue. You don't want to be stranded. So I think consumers are really going to start, as they kind of get their head around it, they're really going to start demanding, like, is this car safe? Do I know that someone's not going to interact with this vehicle? And kind of like crash standards, in the beginning, no one wanted to wear a seatbelt. And now you wouldn't even imagine not wearing a seatbelt. When you buy a car, what is the crash standards of this car? Because nobody thinks they're going to have an accident, but people do. And nobody thinks they're going to get hacked, but look at big companies like Home Depot and Target. They didn't think they were going to get hacked, and the damage is not a fun thing to go through.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for talking to me. Thank you.